Okay, hopefully you can hear me now. Will someone in chat tell me if you've got audio? I was reworking my whole setup this morning and I accidentally deleted the audio. Okay, great. Hi, Etsy. So, good morning, Cappy, and that's Vince, Jordan, Nate. Awesome that you're here. Sorry, I don't have my glasses on. Brooksy, I see. Geronimo, Jack the Fool. Great. Thanks, you guys, for being here. So, probably you've heard from Butte College by now, but at least you heard from me. So, we're doing the rest of the semester online, and I apologize if that creates difficulties for you. We'll do our best to adapt. So what I plan to do this morning, just for a few minutes, is tell you how I expect it to work. If we need to make changes, we'll make changes, but I will lay out for you my plan, and then I'll field questions from you. I'm going to do it course by course. So I'll do CSCI 10 sort of layout, and then CSCI 20 layout, and then CSCI 21 layout. My video is being a little bit laggy when I'm taking a peek over at Twitch, so hopefully we're still all good to go. Okay, so the reason why I have some notes over there, the reason why I have that page open is so I can just sort of write down for each class what we're going to do. So CSCI 10, if I can get to it. So for CSCI 10, the architecture course. And feel free to throw down in chat if you have questions while I'm going, and I'll respond. So I apologize in advance. The only way I can think to really make this work is to kind of do a work through all of the problems together approach. So what I mean by that for CSCI 10 will be that on Tuesdays, we will work together through the homework. Starting next Tuesday. This week we're just going to have to scramble a little bit to get caught up. But next week, on Tuesday, we will work through homework 8 together. And then I'll tell you about when I'd like to get those things submitted to me by email. Thursday, we will work together through the lab. And the way I'm going to do that, I've bought myself a vertical camera rig for the assembly class. So I will have my circuit set up on a table, and I'll have a camera. So you'll see me. And then lower down, you'll see my camera pointing at the circuit, so I can demonstrate how I'm wiring up my circuit. And then I'll have the code off to the left like you're seeing here. Hopefully that makes sense. So that's what we'll do on Thursday. And then on Friday, you submit the homework, PDF, and the lab, which will be a .s file. Yes. So Jack is asking, will courses be streamed at the original times? For now, yes. So I'm not sure if that's when I'll be doing live streaming. I'll also leave the videos on Twitch, and I will also copy the videos of the lecture time over to YouTube, so that if those times are bad for you, or you just don't feel like attending at that time, you can watch what happened in the class later. But the plan for now is I'll do the CSCI 10 lecture from 8:30 to 9:30 on Tuesday and Thursday like normal. I'll do I guess I'll put a note about that at the top so that people that see this later will know. So for all classes, broadcast will be at the regularly scheduled times. So I'll do the CSCI 10 lecture from 8:30 to 9:30, and then I will sit here and interact with chat if there's questions. For CSCI 21, I will lecture from 11 to 12 and then sit here and answer questions on chat. And then for CSCI 20, I will lecture from 2 to 3 and then answer questions that come in through chat. And then all of the lecture videos will stay here on Twitch. I think in my free account that they stay here for maybe 30 days or 60 days. But I will also make copies of all the lecture videos and put them under my YouTube account, which is linked in the Twitch broadcast schedule below. Okay, so hopefully that answered that. So that's how that'll work for CSCI 10. Tuesdays, we'll just sort of open the homework, and I will sort of do my lecture as we work through the homework questions and answer questions on chat. On Thursday, I'll show you how to wire the circuit, and then we'll work through the coding part of the problem together. And then on Friday, I'll ask you to submit by email the homework and the assembly file for that week. So this means that you have a lot less sort of outside of class prep time. It also means that if you like to do the work on your own, it's a little bit spoiled for you. So if you like to work alone, you might have a crack at the homework and or the lab before the broadcast, or don't join the broadcast and watch the videos later to see how your work matches up with the way that I did it. Does anyone here have any... Oh, there's a bunch of you. Sorry I didn't say hello to a bunch of people. Dice K, I see that you're here. Good morning. Fish, Frilly. Sorry, Ho Dave. And if I haven't said good morning to you, I'm sorry. I see another Jake's here. Kevin, good morning. Microprocessor, VNK, Virgo, and is it X Tuffy? Anyway, good morning to everybody. Feel free to drop a question in chat if you have a question for me. I am having a network error on Twitch, so I'm hoping that you're still seeing stuff. Hopefully you are. So anyway, I just had to refresh, so I don't have the chat transcript. So if I missed your question, please re-enter it, because I had to refresh my Twitch page to see if you're still getting the feed. Yes. So what we'll do for CSCI 10 is we will go through homework 7 tomorrow. And we may have a little bit longer meeting than normal, because I also want to get people caught up on Lab 7 for those who haven't finished it. And then we also need to work on Lab 8. So we'll figure that out. We may just do homework 7, and I'll give everyone a pass on Lab 7 if you haven't done it, and then we'll go into Lab 8. But we will sort of cram the whole week's stuff in tomorrow. I'll try to optimize that so I don't have you sitting here at your screen for 2 hours or something. Okay. This is So if you probably don't know this, but I'm in Tucson, Arizona right now, and this is brand new internet service. So hopefully it is up to the challenge. My wife is also sitting in another part of the house. I don't know if she's doing video or not, but she's online sort of doing some heavy lifting. So apologies if the video is choppy or if you're getting delay. Anything that's important, I'll try to get down on the screen to the left of me here. You couldn't see mine. So over there. Okay. So that's the CSCI 10 stuff. Does anyone have any questions for me about 10 before I go over how CSCI 20 is going to work? Okay, so and feel free, by the way, if you need to go back and ask questions about something earlier, go ahead. Feel free to do that. It's not that you can't ask anymore. Also, when I'm done laying out my plan of attack, then I'll sit here and I'll field questions. So for CSCI 20, what we'll do is Tuesday, I will go over the concept or concepts for the week. On Thursday, we will work together through the lab. So again, just like the architecture class, if you like trying to work through the lab on your own in CSCI 20, then you may want to try that either before I do a broadcast on Thursday, or not join the broadcast but watch the video later if you want to see how your work compares to mine. So Tuesdays we'll sort of introduce the concept with examples, and then Thursdays we'll open up the lab and we'll work through it together. And then on Friday, you submit lab.go file. And then this is different. Sorry, there's a question. Let me read it. Lab 7, so for CSCI 10, Lab 7, you can wait until this Friday. So I'll make sure that we all had our best chance to complete Lab 7 tomorrow during the broadcast for CSCI 10. So you can hold off on that until Friday. Okay, so back to CSCI 20. So Tuesday, the concept. Thursday, we'll work together through the lab. And then Friday, you'll submit your lab, your .go file. I'm going to use a different email here, so this one's important. It's fubt.grader@gmail.com. Let me back off the size just a hair. So I'm not going to use my regular email because I have a teaching assistant, and to help them continue making hours and making a little bit of income during this time, I'm going to have them help me check through the lab work and make sure that they've been completed. So anyway, I've highlighted here the email address that CSCI 20 will be using to submit their lab work. That will allow me and my teaching assistant to work a little bit faster to get you your feedback and your grades back quicker. Projects will proceed as normal. So in CSCI 20, nothing changes about the projects. If we have to adjust a deadline here and there, we might, but otherwise, projects in CSCI 20, just like before. You work on those mostly independently. I'm happy to answer questions about them, but mostly you work on those independently, and then you submit them by the deadline. Does anyone in the chat have any questions for either of those two courses right now? Okay, all good. So at least I hope all good. So CSCI 21, that's programming and algorithms 2. Yes. So good morning, Davis. Yeah, I'll be posting these to YouTube. So what I do is I copy the video. I may change that, but anyway, Twitch caches these videos, and then I can take those and directly move them over to YouTube. So hopefully all the content's good. If we have problems with the quality of the videos, I'll explore alternatives. But yeah, you'll see these on YouTube. I'll put this at the top. So I'm YouTube. Same username, so jboydT on YouTube. I'll put all these videos. Okay, so there's a question about if you need help specifically with your code, so you can always email me with questions. So you can always email questions that are specific to your code. I'm going to show you here in a second that I have one other way I can share those questions with people. So what I imagine happening in the programming classes, which is all of them, if you have a question about your code, please email me your question and the code that goes with it. What I will probably do, I will keep your identity anonymous, but I will probably answer your questions on the stream. So I'll take the questions that you have emailed me, and then I will bring the code up on the stream and answer them so that everyone can see the answers. Okay, so 21 is going to look the same. So Tuesday, I will go over the concepts for the week. Thursday, we will work together through the lab. And then Friday, you submit your source code. So I'm being a little bit more vague there for programming algorithms too, because we will have a few labs that have more than one file that go with it. So we'll discuss that on stream. Basically for CSCI 21, you'll probably end up emailing me all of the things that you create or complete for your labs. So not specifically one file, but we'll talk about that each week when we do the lab. And then projects will proceed as normal. And I can see the video's a touch behind me, but you're about to see what I typed. Yeah. All right, so that's my grand plan. Let's see, I need to add, I think I did this. Let me have a peek. Yeah. So Wednesdays, actually I'll put this at the top. Wednesdays. So on Wednesdays, I put this way up at the top here. On Wednesdays, I'll just sort of host, you can call it an office hour, but basically a question and answer session. So everyone or anyone can drop in with any question about any of the classes, and I will answer them. I'll probably sit there on Wednesday mornings for 30 minutes or an hour just working on my own stuff until people arrive and ask questions. So again, the news for everyone is that we're going to be doing a lot more of the work together, which means that you're going to be watching me work through the solutions as you're sitting there watching the video, the broadcast, or later the video, because I don't really, I just feel like that's the most efficient way for us to get through all the content for the rest of the semester. Oh yeah, Wednesdays at 10 a.m. So question and answer open to everyone. If you go to my Twitch page, there's a broadcast schedule. So you'll see when I will be online, and that includes a little bit further down the list the Wednesday session. So Wednesdays at 10 a.m. though is when I'll go live and sit there for 30 minutes or an hour, depending on if it needs to be longer. That's fine too. But if I've gotten no visitors after a while, obviously I'll probably just close down the connection. You can also, by the way, schedule to meet with me by email. We do have Zoom accounts. I don't love Zoom, but I can meet with you in video, sort of video office hours if you want. Or I can fire up a broadcast and I can answer questions for you through chat. Whatever feels most comfortable. So we're not going to lose any content. The main difference is that instead of doing examples that are similar to the lab but not exactly the lab, I'm just going to end up sort of working together through the lab each week. So I apologize for that if that sort of ruins your fun, but I think it's the best way to guarantee that everyone has a chance to learn what it is we're supposed to be learning. If you don't like the spoilers, you can always work through the labs either before the broadcast or don't join the broadcast but view the video later to see your work. But we'll still, the main difference is since we won't be in lab for you to check in your work, you'll email stuff to me on Friday. Okay, so I'm getting, Twitch is showing me an error. I hope it doesn't mean that your stream is interrupted, but Twitch is unhappy with me on my browser right now, even though my broadcasting software looks like everything's okay. So hopefully you are also still getting the feed. Can someone in chat give me an okay if you're still getting the feed? Yeah, I'm going to do that as well. Yeah, I had to refresh. I guess Twitch is probably going to be taking a beating, so hopefully they'll scale it up a little bit and that will smooth itself out. Okay, so we'll just be mindful of that. So I'll appreciate your help in chat if you occasionally tell me we lost video or we lost audio. Right now, for example, I'm watching Twitch struggle. So I'm pretty sure what I'm going to have to do is record myself on my laptop, which I haven't been doing for this session, but I will do for all the classes so that I'm guaranteed to get a good video off of it. Okay, that's my whole informational session. I'll sit here for a few minutes, and if anyone has questions, please feel free to ask. If you have ideas about how we can make this work better for you, you can tell me on chat or you can email me, and we'll see what we can do to. Yeah, mine is not the best either. I'm looking at Twitch and it's not as good as normal. So here in Arizona, we're not on full lockdown, but I can't go over to the local college or anything because colleges pretty much everywhere are shut down. So my home internet has to do the job, unfortunately. But what I will do is I'll start recording myself on my laptop, and then I can post my laptop recording, which should not have any of the Twitch lag in it. But I have not done that today. Okay, so now we're in the, I'll wait for your questions. In fact, I already have the thing up there, but so I'll just put this over here to prompt you if you have questions for me. Just by the end of the day on Friday, so what we're going to try to do is process the grades over the weekend. So if you can get your work to me anytime on Friday so that when I wake up on Saturday morning, we can process all of the work. Diagrams, yeah, I'll try to, like graphics perhaps. I'll work on that. So, and we often reuse circuits. So I'll experiment, and if anyone's good with graphics software and you feel confident at some point, I'd be willing to take your submissions. But yeah, I'll try to work up, and I have a whiteboarding program, so thank you too. You guys, Jack, stay safe and healthy. Hopefully you can at least get outside and get some fresh air once in a while. Yeah, so I'll try to do some, because photographs don't really help, but I will try to put together some diagrams of the circuits. And for CSCI 10, the other thing is you'll see that I have a vertical camera. So I'll actually start with a bare breadboard every Thursday, and I'll wire it up on video. But I'll also see what I can do with my graphics program to make a circuit, or I can get a circuit diagram thing. Okay, thank you, and I hope to see everyone tomorrow, and if you can't, then the videos will be out there for you to view. So I have, it's 10:26. We're on the same time as you in California right now, so I'll sit here for a few minutes. If you have questions, feel free to put them in chat. Okay, yeah, I can do both. I can do pictures and I can do diagrams, and I'll have videos showing me do the wiring. So hopefully all those things together will help. Oh, I do have actually probably I've probably already lost most people. Oh, Twitch is really struggling. Okay. So Nate, you can email me questions about the labs if you like, or you can ask them during chat tomorrow during our meeting. And again, if you email me a question, that's helpful because then I will make you anonymous, but I can use your questions to probably help other people during the broadcast. Please, especially, by the way, let me know if you have issues with software on your end. So, for example, if you don't have the Go tools on your computer, or you don't have a computer where you can get to the Go tools, I can help you with that. If you don't have the C++ tools on a computer that you have access to, I can help you with that as well. There's a website we can use, which is below me. That's REPL it down there. Let me put a text in and I'll... text. Well, what I'm doing real quick is just trying to get a note in here if I can. Let's see if I can make that bigger before I make too big a mess of it. Anyway, this thing over here is REPL it. So anyway, if you have computer issues, REPL.it, REPL it, you can use for Go and C++, and during the broadcast I'll use that tool if anyone wants to see it over the next few meetings online. Help each other out. Please email or ask questions in chat. So be brave, and if you know someone who is shy, be brave for them. In other words, make sure those questions get asked, and if you need help, please make sure to ask. We'll use all the technology at our fingertips to try to make it work for everybody. I think we're going to be all right. Except my voice is going to be more tired than normal, so just expect I'm going to be pretty hoarse for the rest of the semester. Questions? So last call. Anybody have questions? I'm happy to sit here for a bit if you're still thinking through, but please ping me in chat if you're working up a question or you're about to ask a question. Just please say wait or hold or something like that, and I'll wait for you. Okay, so I will post this video. Wait, okay. Some people like it. I'm more than happy to use Slack or Discord and participate in a discussion there if anyone wants. We might. You think it'd be all right, Kevin, if I ask during the broadcast tomorrow morning? I'll ask if people in that class want to set up a group and work through that. Probably I'll add that to my plan for tomorrow. And if I forget, please remind me. We'll ask each class if they want to do Slack or Discord. That can be helpful because then we can just sort of communicate asynchronously whenever we want, as opposed to waiting for the broadcast to happen. That's a good idea. So we'll add that to the script for tomorrow. Okay, anybody else? I'll wait till 10:35. I've got 10:33, so I'll sit here for a couple minutes and make sure questions have a chance to get asked and answered. I'm gonna move my note out of the way so that people can see this part again. It should be. Let me get the YouTube link. Okay, so I changed my note up here and highlighted it. So that's the link to my YouTube account. That link, by the way, is also on my Twitch broadcast page. I'll bring that up real quick to show you. Let me get this out of the way for a second. So this is my Twitch page, and if you look down there, there's a link to my YouTube channel down there as well. It's right here on the, I can't get it to highlight. It's right there on the Twitch page is a link to the YouTube account, but it's also right there on that set of notes. So user jboydT. All right, just shuffling. No, Davis, you're not the only one. I've been having technical difficulty. A lot of us have been having to refresh and stuff. So, oh look, there's my big fat hand. A lot of us are having technical difficulties this morning. So what I'm going to have to do starting tomorrow is record my class broadcast locally, and then I'll upload it to YouTube. And hopefully then at least the YouTube videos won't have as much chop and lag and stuff in them. And sorry if I didn't say good morning to you. I see Baby Doll, Brightside, Commander Root, Crispies, Electrical, SNG, Solace, Tony the Cat, Virgo Pros. I think I said hello to everybody. If I missed you, sorry about that. You can use, let's see, so you can use the jboyt at fubt.net for questions. If you send your questions to fubt grader, that's okay as well. And I know this will be confusing for a bit, but everyone by default should use jboyt at fubt.net. It's just the labs for CSCI 20. We're going to try to get everyone to send them to fubt.grader so that my teaching assistant can get the hours and continue to make some income, and also so that we can get those processed and get feedback for you back faster. So I prefer jboyt at fubt.net for most questions and submissions. Yeah, so you don't have to save questions. If it's, you certainly can wait and ask questions during the broadcast, but you can also email questions to me, and if I can use them to help other people, I'll probably bring that question into the broadcast. I'll keep you anonymous. But if you email me a question, then I at least have the option to see if I can use it. I can answer it and try to help other people with the answer. But either way is fine. So if you're comfortable waiting until the broadcast, I'll answer it then. If you'd rather email it, that's fine as well, whichever one you want. And don't be shy about emails. I know that I expect I'm going to deal with a lot more emails than normal in this situation, and that's all right. So I've just been kind of peeking it. So I think Larks, if I didn't say good morning to you, sorry. Good morning. Go ahead. I can answer that here. And if it's good, I may just repeat it. So, yeah, we can do that. Go ahead. A Lab 13 question for CSCI 20. So this will kind of be what Wednesdays are like normally anyways. I'll be here and answer questions. So yeah, I'm happy to answer it. I'm not running my email, so I haven't seen if anyone's been emailing me stuff. But feel free, I'm happy to answer it. I'm firing up my email to see. If any questions are coming in. What is Lab 13? So for everyone who's still in the chat, I'm going to go over and have a peek at a lab for one of my classes. Hey, look, this thing doesn't do it right. That's not nice looking at all. Actually, I don't have to do that here. I don't know why I'm doing that. Yeah, I've been having, several of us appear to have been having problems on Twitch. I assume Twitch is getting unprecedented amounts of traffic as schools, colleges especially, sort of get back into the swing of things. But no hurry. I'm bringing up Lab 13 so I can remind myself about what you're encountering. Okay, so the difference between a for loop and a range loop. So let me pull up the code real quick for that lab. All right, so probably my Twitch screen is a little bit behind me, so let me see the last two. So that's the int float map and the int bool map. Hopefully I got those are the right ones. Range loop. Okay, well I'll just sort of answer this off to the side a little bit. So let me fire up a Go file real quick. So anyway, for everybody in chat, I'm addressing a question for programming algorithms 1 right now. So let's say that we have So for some of you in CSCI 20, this is several weeks ahead right now. So just heads up that you may not have seen any of this yet, but there's a few people who have been working to get ahead, so that's why we're answering these questions. So let's just say you have some numbers. And for now, I'm just going to make integers. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. So a slice of integers. So so the way that I describe these in CSCI 20, I call them counting for loops and range for loops. So in Go, of course, there is only a for loop, but there's sort of two main ways you can set them up. So a counting loop is one that has the I in it. Is it len or length? I can never remember when I've been away from it for a while. Is it length or len? It's len. I'm pretty sure it's len. But I might be confusing that with another language since we've been away from Go for several days. So when I say a counting for loop in the Go language class, I mean one of these loops that uses I, which is usually starts I at 0, I is less than something, and I plus plus. So that's a counting for loop. And then we could do things like we can print the I as the position, and then the I would also be used to access the value. So that's a counting for loop. And then in Go, a range for loop uses the range keyword. And it's kind of an automatic for loop, if you will, which is hard to understand until you've played around with them for a while. So a counting loop, you have to manually make a counter, which is I in that case, and you have to manually adjust the counter. A range for loop, you have a counter and you have a value, but Go automatically adjusts the counter for you. And then you'll notice one other difference here. So we still have the I, which is the position, but we have the range loop automatically grabs the value as number. So a range loop, you kind of read it as for each index number pair that you get from this slice. So the index would be like the first number index is 0 and the value is 10. So for each index number pair that you get from the number slice, in this case I'm printing out the index and the number value. Whereas a counting loop, notice you don't have an automatic counter and you don't get the number for you. You have to make the counter, you have to adjust the counter, and then you actually use the counter in a counting for loop to get at the value. So I don't know if hopefully that helps a little bit. But that's the terminology I use in the Go class is this is a counting for loop and this is a range for loop. And a range for loop will have the word range in it. Anybody else have anything I can help with? You can't see all that anymore, can you? Hold on. Or can you? Hopefully you can. Yes. So Counting for loops and range for loops are in many cases completely interchangeable. You can use a counting loop or a range loop. It's totally up to you. So in the labs, I usually specify which kind of loop I want you to use because I want you to practice both. But if you're left to your own devices, choose whichever one you think makes the most sense for you and use that one. As long as it solves the problem, that's all that matters. Sure. Okay, anybody else before I check off? I don't want to leave too much dead space, of course, on the video, just because that's not helping anybody. But I want to give you plenty of time to process. Yes. So still do the good formatting and the documentation as you would normally, yes. And you'll see me do that. So when we work through the labs together, I'll make a point of putting my documentation in and running the formatting tool and making sure everything's clean. Just because you want to have good habits, develop good habits, stay with those good habits. So yes, all of that still applies. Sure. Okay, so give me a last wait, otherwise I'm going to sign off and I'll rest my voice up for tomorrow, which will be a long day of broadcasting. Hopefully we find a pacing and a work routine that is best for the greatest number of people. Okay, hopefully I see everybody tomorrow. Please help me get the word out if you... I'll see you tomorrow. And let everyone know if you know somebody and you haven't had word from them since we went off for spring break, please try to get the word out that we're back in class tomorrow as best we can. All right, so anyway, goodbye, and I'll see everybody tomorrow.